Hi everyone, this is Jen with Brit Mums, and I'm delighted to be here this evening with the folks from Team Honk. Now, they are just back from Kenya. They were there helping launch the Lasting Change campaign with Comic Relief, and hot off the plane, just home, they're here to tell us about what they did. You probably saw some of the postcards and the social sharing around the hashtag, but now we have it from the horse's mouth. So welcome, Annie, T, and Penny.
Hello.
Hi, Jen. Thanks for having us.
And guest.
It's got a small child and a greyhound in the background.
Exactly. Well, so Penny, why don't you start us off and tell us what are the kinds of things that y'all did? You were in Kenya for a bit of a whirlwind go-round, and you saw a lot of things. So tell us a little bit about those.
We visited 4 projects while we were there, and the area, just to give you a bit of context of Kenya, has got a very, very high incident rate of HIV, and the particular area that we went to, Kisumu, a lot of children have been orphaned and a lot of people have been widowed, and so it's kind of a lot of need for support in this area and a lot of different issues that are kind of interwoven. So we visited the Amiga project, which was all about helping widows make a living, basically, and at the same time they were making this power porridge, which is made out of all sorts of amazing things that you wouldn't ever think would be in porridge, like eggshells, because it's got zinc in, and it's also something that can be recycled and reused. But that product is really good at helping keeping up the immune system of people with HIV and helping babies, helping mothers breastfeed successfully, and helping kind of elderly people who've got all sorts of health issues. So it really supports the whole community, but it also gives these women who've lost their husbands a chance to earn an income. We visited Mothers to Mothers, and these are a team of mentor mothers who are based in the hospital, and they help women right from the moment they discover they've got HIV, which is very often when they first discover they're pregnant, right through until babies are 18 months old. And so they're providing all kinds of services, from family planning to post and prenatal care, to care for babies, and it was absolutely staggering the rate at which they've kind of reduced HIV, and it's going to almost be eradicated kind of in the generation of babies that we're seeing now, as sort of 5% or so have got HIV, compared to sort of quite staggering statistics before. We also visited a football project, and this was a project for girls. It's really something that really kind of stood out to us was the kind of huge gender imbalances that prevail in this area, and everyone looks to men within the family to make decisions, and people still don't see that girls should be going to school. So it was really, this project's all about girls doing the same things as boys, playing football, being confident. And also there's a mentoring program that runs alongside, which helps deal with some of the sort of issues that women and girls face around going to school and education and kind of confidence. So it was amazing. We spoke to some really wonderful girls there at that project. The last project, which is maybe some people will have seen on television, was Hovik, which is where David Walliams was doing the live link-ups from, and that's a program all about rehabilitating children who've been living on the street. Obviously, with a huge sort of HIV epidemic, lots of children have been left with no parents.
Gosh,
Or in difficult home situations, which have led to them running away, or kind of trying to make money in other ways. So in a nutshell, those were the projects that we visited and some of the issues that we faced.
It sounds amazing, very kind of moving and affecting. Annie, tell us what y'all were doing there. Like a lot of people, I signed up for the social postcards and saw the fabulous pictures that really kind of brought home the setting you were in. But what were the kinds of things y'all were doing there?
We had quite an intense kind of schedule, really. But from the time we landed, we were kind of out at project pretty much all day, and it was really interesting, just kind of how the projects were aware that we were coming. They were aware that we were going to kind of share their stories kind of with the world, and they'd all kind of arranged lovely sessions for us so that we could get the most out of these projects. It was very much taking lots of photos, talking to lots of people, kind of absorbing loads of information, and it's quite hard, you know, when you're in the heat and you're tired, and it's kind of like information overload almost, and it's also very emotional, so it's quite intense, but incredibly inspiring. So we were kind of blogging while we were there and collecting loads of content. We've got some great footage of children dancing. You know, really lovely things to help with the dance-a-thon as well. So it's just an amazing. We've got a staggering amount of content between us to share with people over the next few weeks.
And so we'll be able to go on to the Team Honk website and see those stories and be able to share them from there?
I think we'll be sharing them on our individual blogs mainly.
Okay.
And then we'll probably have an overview that links to all of the individual stories on the Team Honk blog. Mainly because at the moment, the Team Honk blog, we're kind of focusing on the dance-a-thon, and we kind of want the information to be instantly accessible for people to find on there. So, and we'll probably be Instagramming loads more photos and bits and pieces as well. And we've got a lovely interview with David Wallinghams that we couldn't video, but we could record on our phones. So hopefully we'll have a nice SoundCloud interview for people to listen to, maybe even a podcast if we really get excited.
Steady on.
So, yeah.
But on the Team Honk blog, we have got all of the postcards still, so people can see images from the 3 projects that we visited, and I think you were asking before, Jen, if it's all right to share those postcards still. Absolutely. Even though the Red Nose launch day was on Monday, I think it's been really lovely to see people's kind of responses to those images and people's kind of thoughts on those. So it'd be great to see those shared. I think we felt quite passionately about getting other people's voices who don't have access to the internet onto social media, and it's been really nice to see kind of quotes from people popping up all over the internet.
Were there any folks or any stories in particular that touched y'all individually? It sounds like they were all, as you say, very emotional, but were there, I don't know, any particular people that kind of stood out to you while you were there?
I was really touched by a lady called Elizabeth, who we met on Saturday afternoon at the we went to Mothers twice. Once was in the grounds of the hospital, and that was a support session under the tree. They danced and they sang as we arrived, and then we sat in on a mentoring session. And Elizabeth told us her story, and she had contracted HIV when she was raped in Nairobi, and found out she was HIV positive, was very down about it. And her parents said, look, come to Kisumu, come and live with us. So she'd arrived in Kisumu, very down, as you would expect, and had then heard about the support that Mentor Mothers gave, and has really turned her life around and turned around her view of HIV. And she basically just said it's just a condition and we just have to live with it, and we mustn't stigmatise ourselves. And I think that was really important, that they knew that this change had to come from within, and that they really believed that they were still people, they were still worthy, and the fact that they had HIV wasn't a death sentence, that they had access to the drugs, and that they could be healthy, and that they were helping each other with nutrition, and knowing that they had to lead healthy lives, they had to drink water, they had to eat healthily, they had to take their drugs at the same time every day. And she was just an incredible woman to have been so utterly depressed and destroyed, having been raped, that there she was now, and she was really positive, and she was a real ambassador for Mentor Mothers, even though she wasn't one herself, but hoped to be in the future, because once the Mentor Mothers have had their training, they are then employed, so they get a small salary, they're then empowered, so they are teaching their peers. And I think the people that they're supporting really appreciate that the people that are talking to them and standing in front of them saying that you must do this are all HIV positive themselves and have all had their own stories. So Elizabeth really sort of struck a chord with me. I'll remember her for a long time.
That sounds very moving, and especially that kind of collaborative, effect there with people working together.
It was incredible, because I mean, it was all just women being supportive of women, and I looked back and sort of thought about the UK and how women can be quite quick to slate other women. And you think, actually, Kenya was all about women supporting themselves. And Penny talked about the Omega Foundation and the ladies making porridge. They were all helping each other. Each one of them grew one particular crop. They sold it to the collective, and they then made it. They took it to another group of women that owned the mill, and they paid to use the mill, and they bought it back, and they sold it to other women. And it was just all about women coming together and helping women. And I think, actually, as a society, we've got a lot to learn from the Kenyans.
That's a really positive message to come away with.
Yeah.
So T, tell us what is next then. I mean, we'll be seeing some of this content spooling out on your individual blogs, but what can we look forward to? What can we as bloggers and social folks on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, etc., do to still get involved and push things forward for lasting change?
I mean, everybody, bloggers and tweeters have been so supportive, and I know that I say for all three of us that it was just incredible. We had such limited time online over the weekend. We had sort of an hour in the middle of each day, and we were battling a really flaky Wi-Fi connection. So we just couldn't thank everybody individually as much as we wanted to. But this weekend, people have just been phenomenal, and it was great to see so much shared. But we would love for that sharing to carry on, as has already been said. Just still take any of the photos off the Team Honk blog that anybody wants to share and create a postcard with. Annie was looking at Instagram this morning and Google Plus, and there were just pages and pages of photos, and it was fabulous. And even sort of standing at the Mothers to Mothers project yesterday, when we went back to it, we did have a Wi-Fi connection there, and showing some of the ladies that we'd met on Saturday, look, these are photographs, they're in the UK, these are being shared by our friends, was brilliant. And it meant so much to them, as Penny said, giving these women that don't have access to the internet a voice. So I think if anybody still wants to carry on doing that, we would love it. Obviously, Red Nose Day is the 13th of March, so we've still got sort of 6-8 weeks until then. So any sharing that people can still do. I mean, the three of us must have 3,000 photos between us and stacks of video, so we'll be planning through it and sharing it. Oh, excuse me, I've just been video bombed. Thanks, Bob. So we'll be sharing it on our blogs for a while. But there may be the odd thing on Team Honk, but we will be sharing it, and we would love for everybody else to share it, and also to sign up for the dance-a-thon. We'd love people to come to Wembley. I think we've really proved this weekend that change can happen, and that it doesn't need to be. It's not about huge amounts of money. It's about small amounts of money making a big impact, and that all of these projects have made a huge difference to the lives of the people that they're supporting and then their families. And as Penny mentioned, that the work that Mothers to Mothers are doing mean that these babies are now growing up HIV negative. They may have HIV positive parents, but transference of HIV to babies can actually be prevented. So there could be a generation soon that is not HIV positive in Kenya, and that's happening because of donations coming from the UK. And I just think that's such a powerful thing, that if we can get people to sign up, give a day, come to Wembley, dance your socks off, raise 150 quid, and you can change so many lives. It would just be great if we could fill those 500 places at Wembley.
And we had a really emotional moment, I think, when the Street Children's Project, and they cranked up the stereo, and all these boys were just really dancing and really going for it. And I just thought, gosh, dancing is amazing. It's so much fun. But if we could dance for these boys and kind of, really raise loads of money, that would just be wonderful.
I mean, everybody can do it. And it's also been announced that there is going to be, Wembley's going to be live streamed on the red button. So anybody who's got Sky can watch it at home. So anybody that can't come to Wembley, you can still sign up, join the Team Honk giving pages on the Comic Relief website. We'll share the link on Team Honk. You can still be part of Team Honk, even if you can't get to Wembley. If you're the other end of the country, you've got other commitments that day, you've got kids' birthday parties in the afternoon or something, do something at home or bake cakes and sell them, but join Team Honk, still raise money, still do it through the Team Honk fundraising page. And let's see if we can make as much money as possible and dance at home. Get the kids to put on a show and charge relatives 20p to come along and watch something. But there's so much that you can do at home, even if you can't make it to Wembley. It'd be great if we could raise as much money as possible.
Just quickly, I interviewed Rufus Hound last week, and he ended our interview really on a really positive note, and it's just this. It's the fact that you can put on some trainers, act like a fool and dance around, and save people's lives. It's a really simple thing to do.
Right. And how often can you say that?
It's such a fun thing to do, to go and have fun and ultimately be saving someone's life. It's not a massive, huge, climbing up a mountain, physical torture, massive challenge. It is slightly challenging, but to be there with your friends, having fun. I mean, there are so many bloggers signed up already. I mean, if you're umming and ahhing over whether to do it, drop us an email, and we'll tell you if there's anyone you know already joining in, or if there's someone from your area you could share with. So.
All right.
And it's indoors, so you won't even get wet if it rains. And given that it's March, it probably will rain, so you can't even use that excuse.
Exactly. And so basically all these ways to get involved, to raise money, and it all goes toward that lasting change that reported a little on so far, that we can expect more content from. Thank you for joining us when you're just back. I know y'all must be exhausted from all the traveling and the go, go, go while you were on the ground. But we're looking forward to featuring more content and highlighting it via BritMums, and of course everyone should go to y'all's individual blogs, then go to the Team Honk blog. They can follow along with the hashtag Lasting Change and sign up for the Dance-a-thon, of course. Any final words about Kenya and your journey, both literal and spiritual there?
I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody that has shared so much over the weekend. I mean, we have literally, I'm not joking, we've had 12 hours sleep each since Friday morning. It's now Tuesday night. We're pretty much on the last of it now of being able to stay awake. And the only way we've got through it is by seeing so much of it shared, and messages from people and tweets, and it really is what's kept us going. And so I'd just like to say a huge thank you to BritMums and everybody that has shared the Lasting Change hashtag. We heard it was trending at one point, which was incredible and was great for comic relief. And so just a big thank you to everybody for doing their bit.
And David Williams was actually really interested in Team Honk and kind of why we've been brought along on the trip, and Comic Relief were kind of explaining to him that kind of the reach, not the three of us, but when everyone supports, is kind of in the millions, and that's just incredible, because it's that message is getting out there. It's quite staggering. We weren't really aware of that statistic till we heard it. So together as a collective with everyone behind the messages of lasting change, it's incredible how far it can reach.
Fabulous. All right, ladies. Well, thank you. We will let you go and rest now, and looking forward to what's all going to come out in the coming weeks. Thanks so much.
Jen. Thanks, BritMums.
Thank you.
Thanks.